recording. It's 6:18 a.m. on Monday, November 16th, 2020, and I want to say I want to talk, or I wanted to talk, but that's not true. I don't really want to talk. I've been ignoring people for better part of a week, to the best of my ability. More than that? God, I don't know. I posted last night on social media, and if you follow me, you'll recognize the doomer spiral I'm in right now. Posted, no, I guess I didn't post this on Twitter. Just that I woke up and was immediately overwhelmed with anxiety, and a couple people reached out, and I didn't even read their messages because, like, I don't know, I don't really have the energy. I really don't have the energy to engage. Like, I just want to shut down and turn off and disassociate or sleep or just not be here. Just not be in my head, in my body. It's not, very healthy, obviously, because it's in response to stress and fear and anxiety. And I had just been feeling the low-key or high-key anxiety for most of the night until I got a response from someone, and it was with the best of intentions, but I just got angry when I read the response, and I wrote a response to it that had, muted language, but I just couldn't edit out the anger I was feeling, so I just ended up deleting the whole fucking thing. When I am talking about being anxious or stressed out or full of dread and anxiety, existential and material, that I have, for all the reasons I've talked about, that I'm worried. And more so lately, worried for myself, because I have like a month of rent left, and we are experiencing some of the worst unemployment we have in United States history. We are in the midst of one of the worst epidemics of United States history, at least the worst since the last epidemic well over a century ago, 110, 107 years. I can't do math right now. There's a massive labor surplus, job shortage, and restrictions on, in my state, finally, we're starting to have, I live in Washington, starting to have some restrictions placed on gatherings and certain businesses, which is great and way overdue, but it really sucks that it's happening at a time where I'm like, okay, I can't self-fund my own quarantine anymore. So unless I get financial aid to allow me to do my part to stop or mitigate the spread of this disease, I have to re-enter the workforce. And unfortunately, even though I am technically skilled enough to do remote positions, they tend to be in such high demand, or they tend to take advantage of the fact that they're not located here in Seattle or Washington to undermine our minimum wage laws or our minimum wages. And it just doesn't math out to me being able to even pay rent with some of these fucking part-time positions. So it increasingly looks like I just have to bite the bullet and take whatever position I can find. And it's not a pride issue. I don't think I'm better than working in person. I'm certainly not better than manual labor. I actually enjoy it. But what is repulsing me now is I don't want to put my health in at risk. And it's always been this year an abstract. It's a thing I knew was coming eventually, and I was just putting it off and trying to protect myself as much as possible. It's really down to the wire here. It's down to the wire because the unemployment office, after giving me unemployment benefits for 4 or 5 months, retroactively denied it and charged me for all the financial aid I'd been given, and then some, which is a total I obviously don't have anymore. It's just insane that they did that. Obviously, I filed an appeal. What, in September? August? It's been months, and I haven't gotten a single reply beyond a notification that they received my appeal. Within weeks, it should have gone to an appeal court, but I've heard nothing. So what I gather is I'm just not going to hear back. Which is, fine. I'm no stranger to being tens of thousands of dollars in debt. I do, after all, have a college education and live in the United States, so I'm, already many tens of thousands of dollars in debt because of that. And if I am anything like the vast majority of my generation, I'm just going to live in debt for the entirety of my life. But that particular debt could potentially be, if I don't make good faith payments on it, which of course I can't, they could try to strike the balance, if you will, by taking tax return or garnishing for future income. Particularly, what comes to mind is not future income, which, would be kind of frustrating, but, viewable. If there were some sort of government aid, whether it be local or federal, pretty sure that unemployment fucking up and giving me money and then deciding that I shouldn't get money, and somehow that's my fault, my responsibility. It makes it so that if there were future stimulus, and let's be honest, there probably won't be, because the government does not give a shit about any of us. Yeah, I feel very justified in feeling negative, very negative and hopeless and doomery. Like, I've been applying to an average this month of 3 positions per day. Now that's 3 positions typically out of 100 or more. I have to look for positions I'm qualified for, positions that would actually pay enough to cover rent, positions that wouldn't require me commuting long distances, because the thing is, I would really prefer remote position, right? For health reasons. But once we start talking about commuting, it's all public transit where I live. So even a short commute puts me in close proximity with a lot of people in surfaces that just can't be sterilized, particularly during the winter months. And fuck, I live close enough to the Space Needle that listings have been for, like, Space Needle elves, like Santa's elves. There, it's just like, who? No, fuck no. Who the hell wants to do an in-person job right now? Because the fucking sane and reasonable people are staying at home, and it's just the people who are most likely to spread that are going out and trying to act like everything's normal. Why the fuck would I want to be involved with any of that? I want to make it clear, I'm not being all woe is me. I'm not trying to talk about how bad I have it, because in comparison to a lot of other people, I don't have it that bad. The fact that I still have a month of rent left is, 10 months better than... What fucking month is it? 8 months better than some other people have had, right? Some people got knocked out of work at the end of March or April and have stayed that way for 7-8 months and haven't been able to pay rent and have relied on food stamps and other programs for food and basic amenities for that time. The fact that I was able to save up for as long as I did was huge, and the fact that I was able to benefit from the unemployment benefits program, even though they decided I shouldn't be 5 months after, it bought me a lot of time. But trying to have gratitude about that is kind of like trying to have gratitude about being the 5th dude in a firing line. Like the 3rd one on the executioner's block. Like, okay, I wasn't the 1st one or the 2nd. I got a little bit more time. But now I'm being pushed back into the meat grinder of the American economic system, where it's, blood for Wall Street. And, it's very hard to not feel utterly hopeless about that. Just utterly and completely hopeless about that. And someone, I won't say who, posted with a lot of, very superficial advice, and they have a tendency to do this, to kind of deflect from me posting things that are emotional and wanting emotional resonance and recognition. I want to be seen, right? I want to be seen and heard. I want to be connected with emotionally when I'm speaking and writing or posting emotionally. That's obviously what it's an invitation for. If you have obvious solutions, like actionable solutions, I'd probably be open to hearing those. Absolutely. But I also, really want just to be seen and heard. And I got advice like, just do one thing every day. Doing one thing every day is fucking hard for people who have serious depression or serious anxiety or all kinds of different mental and physical maladies. That's not realistic. I haven't done laundry in 2 months. A month, 2 months. No, it's been 2 fucking months. I have a pile of dishes in my fucking sink. I took trash out for the first time in 3 months, this last week. I have boxes of recycling sitting in my living room. I live in the apartment closest to my building's trash and recycling. I literally have to take it like out 1, 2, 3 doors and across a parking lot, and I'm there. And I still haven't done it. Right? I'm I am very depressed. So doing something every day isn't. I'm doing something every day. God damn it. I'm finding the energy to feed myself, or to cook, or to order food. I'm showering. I'm not killing myself. Seriously, the amount of effort and energy it takes to find the will to live is notable. It is not fucking helpful to tell someone who is obviously and has been depressed for years superficial crap like just do one thing a day or don't make excuses. Don't make excuses is some of the most toxic, dismissive, bullshit advice I've gotten in my life. Because you don't qualify something as an excuse unless you're refusing to engage with it. You're refusing to recognize the validity of it. You're just not resonating with it. You're not giving it space. You are in an active state of denial. If you are calling something an excuse, you are rejecting the validity of it. Fuck that. I want excuses. I want reasons. I want reasoning. Give me your reasons. Give me your fears. Give me your anxieties. Give me your worries. Give me your excuses. Because if I care about you, if I really care about you, then I'll work with you and I'll engage with you and I'll hear you. I'll listen to you. It's that kind of language is thrown around in business culture in the United States. Oh, don't make excuses, just get results. Fuck you. That kind of attitude has led to the destruction of ecosystems, of our environment, of our economy, of our mental well-being in this country, our health in this country and abroad. Excuses are important. Reasons that you can't do something or shouldn't do something or might not want to do something or mitigating circumstances are important. So no, I'm gonna make fucking excuses. I'm gonna give my reasons for why I'm pessimistic, for why I'm not hopeful, for why I am reasonably, rationally, logically engaging with every aspect of this situation, my employment or lack thereof, my financial status, my material circumstances. I'm engaging with these analytically, critically, rationally. I'm not just making excuses on a whim. I'm not being lazy. I am not being any of this other flippant language. I'm looking at a bad hand and calling it a bad hand. So I deleted the post. Because I didn't want to start an argument when they're trying to help. They're just trying to offer pleasantries, I don't know, bullshit. They're offering something that's just not working for me. I don't want that. What I want in response is like, here's a position that would work. Or honestly, yeah, that's what I want. I don't want you to tell me things are going to be okay, because they're probably not. In the long term, they're definitely not. We're all going to fucking die eventually. The environment's going to hell. There's no... Listen, the long-term projections are never good. So don't tell me it's all going to be okay, because it's not. What I want is help solving my problem. I want you to go, yeah, what you're talking about is real, and here's a solution you haven't thought of. Or, hey, I know you look through hundreds of job listings a day. Here's one that I saw that would be a good fit for you. Have you tried this one? That's helpful. That's helpful. But just saying, keep at it. Yeah, I'll be sure to fucking do that. Or, God, and I'm guilty of this one. Let me know if you need anything. I'm never going to talk to you. I am never going to let you know if I need something. Because I just feel guilty asking. That puts the onus on the receiving party, who are probably already feeling guilty enough just complaining about being in need, or talking about being in need. I mean, the likelihood of them actually asking for help when they need it is low, is incredibly low. I mean, for fuck's sake, I'm having ideation that I really shouldn't be having right now. I am not asking for help. Because the only fucking help I get is shit I already know. People telling me things I already know, or presenting solutions that I've already looked into or discounted for whatever reason. And I, like... I'm mad. I'm mad now. I was anxious and afraid last night, predominantly, and today, I guess I'm angry today. For all the reasons I've talked about before, and honestly, there's not going to be anything worth listening here. There really isn't. There's not going to be much worth talking about. I'm not even sure why I'm recording this. Posterity, I guess. To illustrate my emotional and mental decline. The idea of posterity or record keeping has always really appealed to me. Obviously, as a historian, I've always kind of fantasized about leaving behind letters and, artifacts of a life, and somebody digging through my things, my books, after I'm dead, and, trying to imagine who I was. There's something romantic in that for me. But I think the truth of the matter is I won't be important enough. I mean, chances are I'm probably not going to get married. I'm probably not going to have kids. And I'm the youngest. I have an older sibling, though women tend to outlive men, so genetically I'm predisposed to probably die before her. And given that I'm at a lower financial class, but I am relatively healthy, I think I'm relatively healthy. See, think is the operative word, because I haven't been to a real doctor in like 10 years, and even then they're like, "Ooh, you got pretty high blood pressure. Let's take a look at that." And I'm like, let's not. And anytime I actually asked them for anything, it never really led anywhere helpful. It was like, I could be a ticking time bomb for all I fucking know. My point is, this whole fantasy, it's probably never going to happen. I mean, I'm probably going to die poor and alone. And my belongings, Dude, I don't know. They might get auctioned. I mean, they'll probably just get thrown away, if I'm being honest. Legacy and posterity, they tend to be things for wealthy people. Yeah, I've been doing the thing where I've been waking up at like 7, 8 p.m., staying awake all night, going to bed at like 7, 8 a.m. Unintentionally, I just slip into it. And obviously it's not helping with the depression, but like, man, I've been alone in quarantine since April. I haven't seen. The most I saw people was when I was protesting. And I guess when I go to the grocery store, but I don't even talk to people when I go to the grocery store. I maybe say thank you to an employee if they pick up something or hand me something or I hand them something, but I do self-checkout even. Like, I don't... I'm so socially numb and disconnected. You know, I'm an architect of my own situation there, so I'm not decrying that or despairing. I'm just, you know, it's noteworthy. I talk to friends online, I play games with friends online, but, you know, when I wake up in the middle of the night and feel paralyzed in fear, have a hard time breathing, and don't even know where to start to do anything that might make me feel better, I don't call people. I don't message people because, honestly, I don't think anyone wants to talk to me. Like, there's a couple people that have said you can reach out whenever, but I don't believe them. Because no one really means it. No one really means whenever. Right? Like, you don't honestly want me waking you up in the middle of the night, and... I like that my friends will turn to me if they need someone to talk to. I just wish they'd check in more on me. I hate feeling as used as I do for, like, counselor friend, or therapist friend. I like being able to provide that, but whenever I start talking about how I'm feeling or what's been on my mind, I feel like a burden. I feel like they don't care, like they stop paying attention immediately, like they honestly don't really have room for me in their lives. And that we just offer the polite pretense that they do. But whereas me, on the other hand, I don't have a lot going on beyond whatever passion projects I throw myself into. So if somebody comes in knocking, of course I have the time to give them the world. I like caring for people. I like giving. I just want some fucking reciprocation. And not like people guilting me for being depressed and not playing games or being awake at the same time as them. I don't see it out. I really don't. It's gonna be a long month. It's only 2 weeks left. And I'll be able to pay November's rent, and I'll have like, I don't know, $600-700 left over at that point to then cancel all my auto payments and hope that I can get a job. I guess I just... I want to work. I want to do something. I want to do something meaningful and constructive, and all these fucking positions I'm applying to don't offer that at all. God, there's so many insurance positions and claims positions and loans and... Oh God, it's also fucking predatory. It's also predatory. It's all working in real estate or insurance, and oh my God. Just grift on grift on grift, and none of it's inspiring. And it's all deeply disheartening. But again, I know I'm not unique in this frustration and this struggle. I just feel lost. I feel utterly lost, and I'm doing stuff. I'm applying to things. I just don't know if it fucking matters. I really don't. Yeah, I've been working on other things. I've been modding a little. And, you know, it's gratifying knowing that my mods have reached thousands of people and that in some small way I've impacted that many people's lives. That's cool. It is. But also, I don't know, I'm depressed, so I feel like it's not very good, and other people could do better, and I should be able to do better, and I'm dumb, and I wish I had the attention span to just take formal classes on coding, but I just don't have the attention span for it. So even though I want to get into game design and QA professionally, that I don't have the right certification, so I'll never get it, and it doesn't matter if I can actually do it or not, because I just don't know people, and even if I did, then it's still probably not enough. I'm 28 and I feel old, and I know that's ridiculous because there's the vast majority of people take until their 40s, I think, to really hit their career, but it doesn't feel true, and I still feel like a complete constant fucking failure. I feel like a failed child. I do in just so many aspects of my life. And, you know, maybe it's true. You know? That's a possibility. Not everyone can be a success. My sister reached out to me last night, a couple nights ago, watching home videos that we have from when we were kids. At first, just with the clip of me at a school dance when I was in 5th or 6th grade. A memory which I've tried to burn out of my brain, and I tried to overwrite the footage. I thought I destroyed that footage, but no. Guess not. And then the next day, she messaged me about how depressing it ended up being watching through all of it. And she and I have talked a lot. Well, intermittently. This summer. About growing up and our circumstances, and... Yeah, I don't want to dig too deep here. Not for my own privacy, but for the privacy of the rest of my family. I won't dig into specific things. But just the minutia of ways that was unhealthy for really all of us, and that on the whole we seem better now that we're separated. My parents separated after my sister and I moved out. My sister and I lived thousands of miles apart. My parents lived thousands of miles from us. I think they're even maybe hundreds of miles separated. That might not be true. We're a family by blood and by name, but really, we've just always been a house of strangers who live together and kind of have solidarity in that we were all thrown in this uncomfortable situation together. But yeah. Yeah, like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what really got me spiraling to being depressed. Wednesday, I was pretty exhausted after a long night of talking politics with a couple of folks I played D&D with. It was a really productive conversation. Really, really productive conversation. But right after that, but it was very draining. We went on for hours. I was talking about Marxism and socialism and answering a lot of questions and responding to a lot of doubts and apprehensions to it, and just trying to educate, just trying to have a dialogue, and talking a lot about land stewardship and existing governmental structures, reforms that they need, centralized versus decentralized government, and just it's a whole fucking mess. It was a great conversation, but draining. Then, at the end of the conversation, they asked, one of the people asked if I could send them like intro stuff to Marxism, and I'm like, I guess I can, but like, not to be an academic snob, but I am an academic snob. The best way to understand Marxism is just to sit down with Das Kapital and read it and learn it. Just learn it. As Marx, he writes like an economist, right? But his arguments really speak for themselves as critiques of capitalism. And that's really all they are, critique, with some vague notion that something else has to replace it. Well, vague. Very assertive notion that something else has to replace it. So I dug around, listened to a few audiobooks. Well, first few minutes of a few audiobooks, decided I just didn't like their tonality. Then I fished around on YouTube, trying to remember some content creators that talked about stuff succinctly and clearly, and I got a couple I wasn't really that happy with, and then a couple professors and doctors who I really like how they speak and write, and put this together. Which took most of the night, still quite exhausting, but what really shot me, just killed me, that night was after I had finished having this long conversation about politics. A very good friend of mine reached out and needed to talk about an addiction they're struggling with, and fears accompanying trying to push towards sobriety, feeling trapped and stuck, and really exhausting stuff for them. And it just sucks hearing it, not being able to be, like, around to help. Not being able to be, you know, a real person in their life and just text on a screen or electronic voice through a box. Yeah, they're doing okay, I think. And then my sister talking to me about depressing home videos and holy shit. I fucking don't have the energy to just do anything. I need to... Oh, I need to clean my bathtub, do laundry, vacuum, take out the recycling, do the dishes. I need to go grocery shopping again. I need to reorder. I need to order more dried goods. I need to get a fucking job. And it just, man, I don't have the energy. I don't have the fucking energy. I just wish I could get diagnosed with clinical depression so I could be at least getting some help, like with disability checks, which I know are not enough and would not replace an actual income, but would still be nice in helping me get to the point where I could get an income again. Because a lot of this depression gets resolved if I have a job and if I am comfortable materially and financially. I'm not saying wealthy, I'm saying like I'm able to pay bills, I'm able to save a little, and I'm able to spend a little. If I feel secure, my mental well-being is significantly better. I don't know. I'm so deeply pessimistic. And I don't want to be debated about all the ways that this is too dark or pessimistic of an outlook, or this is or that is. All I want are real, tangible, actionable pieces of advice. Don't link me to a fucking job listing site. I have enough fucking job listings. Especially don't link me to crap ones that don't let you filter. Like, I'm not gonna get too specific, but giving me more work to do is not helping me. Telling me to keep working is not helping me. Telling me that I'm doing a good job is not helping. Telling me that things are going to be okay is not helping. Helping is helping. And to one person's credit, Luke, you have reached out a couple of times this summer with positions that you've had a line on. And I think someone else has done that. Someone else here in Seattle has done that. So to you and whoever the hell that was, kudos. I didn't take it because, truthfully, I was depressed. I saw your message. I went, oh, fuck, I need to respond to that. Oh, God, I don't really want to respond to that right now. Does that sound like something I'd want to do? I don't know. On one hand, I need the job. On the other hand, I don't need the job yet. And I'm kind of hoping things get better, and I'm just keeping my fingers crossed that the health crisis starts, you know, topping out at least before I go out into public again. And then, like, a couple days have passed, I'm like, well, now I'm just an asshole at this point for not responding, and now it's been, like, way more than a couple of days. And I'm just like, well, now I don't want to fucking necro this and post and bring it up. And this is just me. This is just me. I'm this way with emails and texts and calls. Just, if you don't get a hold of me immediately, and like somebody I don't know very well reached out in my DMs last night and I didn't read it. Again, they could have, it doesn't matter what they said or didn't say. My irrational anxiety depression brain is like, panic, don't have energy for this. It's so frustrating. I get incredible social anxiety, which is the stupidest, most irrational, most aggravating, monstrous little imp to have in my brain. Just give me a job. Yeah, with Christmas coming up. Know what I want for Christmas? Rent money. Thanksgiving? Rent money. Yeah, as if we give money for Thanksgiving. I have no joke, had to stop myself from calculating, well, how much am I likely to get from family for Christmas? I'm like, don't think that way. It's probably gonna be, no, don't. It's a gift, number one, so you shouldn't count on it. You shouldn't expect it, and sure shit shouldn't be calculating it a month beforehand as the means by which you hope to sustain yourself. No, there's like 4 or 5 different ways that this is a thing my brain shouldn't be doing, but I am grasping at straws. No joke, with people posting on Twitter about the best thing Biden could do for providing, he could do this day one, give financial aid, is just cancel all student debt. Number one, Joe, nothing will change Biden is sure shit not going to do that. Number two, that really wouldn't help me. I'm deferring my student loans right now based on income because I don't have an income. So a lot of these have income-based repayment plans, so I'm not paying anything anyway. And if I just stay poor for 20 more years, then they get absolved. It's not my actual plan, but that is the realistic take. Given the average income of millennials, its projected growth over time, and the projected growth into the future, it's not an unrealistic take. Even if it were eliminated overnight, I would immediately just take new student loans, go back to school, and do that for like 8 years. I would just dive headfirst into academia. Because, like, I'd really like to finish my degree program. I'd really like to make some professional connections. I'd really like to learn more, honestly. Be back in an academic environment. I feel like they're really good for me when they're good for me. And if not, student loans, then just, like, take... What? No, it seems like a terrible idea to take loans so I don't have to work until, you know, it's not putting my health at risk to work, but... You know? It's tempting. I don't know. I'm really just scraping the fucking barrel. We're trying to come up with ways to make ends meet, basically. We do have a rent assistance program here in Seattle, but it requires you already be behind on rent. I'm like, buddy, I'm doing everything in my power to stay above water. Don't tell me I have to go underwater just to be on a list that I might be accepted to an assistance program. Why can't we be proactive about this rather than reactive about this? Oh, God. Capitalism sucks. The United States is failing. It's just wonderful, wonderful time to be alive. Just the best. Don't take that as me being nostalgic for past periods of history. All of history has been terrible forever. Just certain parts of it get alleviated at times. Is that enough cynicism for the day? Well, we're almost at an hour. Am I okay? No, I'm not fucking okay. I'm not okay. I am feeling powerless, I'm feeling hopeless, I'm feeling frustrated, angry, desperate. I am rife with existential despair. I do not have hope that things will get better nationally, locally, or personally. Not in the next month, not in the next 2 months. And when I talked about ideation earlier, I get to this point where I'm just like, man, it'd be nice to just like not deal with any of this. To just opt out, right? But and I've talked about this in the past when it comes to death. You don't really opt out. Because once you off your mortal coil, your material circumstances survive. A lot of forms of debt will be inherited by family, for example. And even if you don't have debt, the cost of your burial, the cost of your funeral, the cost of, honestly, as terrible as it is to talk about, like cleaning up after your body, because a lot of people, let's not get too specific, but dead bodies can be expensive, right? And getting rid of the departed stuff if they don't have a living will, or if they don't have a will and testament, which I don't think I have a will anymore. I did at one point. Don't remember. It's just even if the idealism of this ideation that you can just stop, even if that were correct, which there's really no evidence to support that. We don't know how consciousness works. I don't want to get into the metaphysical side of it, but there's a lot there if you want to dig into that. Even all that aside, you're really just moving your problems onto other people. And honestly, thinking about death that way is what has gotten me through some of the darkest points in my life. Depressive and suicidal urges as a teenager, as a young adult, and even more recently. I don't live for selfish reasons. The things that keep me alive are other people. And my awareness of what my presence or absence does or would do to people. People I care about, and people I don't even know. What keeps me alive is compassion and empathy, first and foremost. You know, that's not such a terrible thing. It really isn't. That's a pretty good place to find yourself grounded in. I'm tired. I'm okay. I'm not... I've been saying I'm not in crisis. I'm not in an impending crisis. My material conditions are okay for the next... Listen, for the next 2 weeks, fine. Then I pay rent. Then I am in a financial crisis. But we're not there yet. This is me trying to be optimistic. It just doesn't fucking work. We're not there yet, but I've been worrying about it for 4 months, 5 months straight. Like, I've not been able to enjoy at any point this summer being quarantined and not working because I've been dreading my money running out. And what the fuck am I gonna do then? I've been dreading this and worrying about this and trying to think about this all fucking summer, all fall long, and we're pretty much here. I'm alive. I will get through the holidays. After that, I legitimately have no clue what's going to happen. I'm going to keep doing my due diligence. I'm going to keep applying to places. I'm going to keep putting in good faith efforts to find work. But I am so entirely without hope, so entirely jaded, despondent, and disillusioned. I can't see the light from here. When I do these Let's Talk things, I always try to end on at least a vaguely positive note, because, if you've made it this far, it's the least I can do. Either strange and terrible times, a monumental importance for the days to come after them. And I hope that in these exhausting days, months, that you do not lose your desire for a better world, for a more just world. Not just for you, but for those you love. For those who surround you. I hope that, come what may, in the next few months, politically, materially, that we move forward more actively, politically, more actively, cooperatively, more actively as communities. Do not slip back into the passive attitudes that has allowed things to get as bad as they are. Even when I am deeply pessimistic, I am bitterly and stubbornly, emphatically, an advocate for positive, constructive actions. Like joining the Democratic Socialists of America, like organizing at work, like organizing your friends, family, like supporting progressive candidates for local offices, progressive local causes, like protesting, like supporting protesters, like standing up for humanist, humanitarian, progressive leftist causes. These are dark times. And maybe no one is going to save us but ourselves. But at least we're not alone.